morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are based. We thank God for all these time differences. Yes, it is early night here in the UK. Receive my love from the UK and thank you for all your support. You are welcome to our channel. It's Abby Mombi channel on YouTube. And it is our platform for growing and running together. We learn together. Learning is continuous. So we have been doing this series on our guy. Our guy is the narcissist, or anyone who is on high narcissistic spectrum. And how does that affect our relationships? So, just to summarize, our guy need attention, they crave admiration, and they need supply. They are grandiose and they are entitled. Our guy lack empathy, has no ability to know how people feel or are affected by their behavior. They also lack self-regulation and validation. Our guy is manipulative and uses others to achieve his own means or his own ends. And others will describe our guy as cocky, selfish, entitled, son of so-and-so or daughter of so-and-so. Yes, life is all about them. And the world just revolves around them. And where does this leave you then? If you are in a relationship with someone who is on a high narcissistic spectrum. The problem is they are able to conceal some of these characteristics until it's convenient. Most of them are charmers. They will charm everybody else. And people, you think, actually, you must be the bad guy. They will gaslight you. They will do all sorts of things. They will manipulate you. They will coerce you behind the closed doors. But out there, they are the perfect person. And then, because of this, it's good to have an awareness of what are the triggers. What are the triggers of this person? I'm going to briefly discuss the triggers I missed. I noticed, for example, whenever I was expecting a baby, there will be a big problem or a series of problems. There will always be issues because the attention now has moved from my ex and now is focused on something else. There's a baby coming up. There are young children or a person is sick. These are all triggers that will trigger a narcissistic person or a person with high narcissistic spectrum to have a crisis, because they must have attention. They crave the attention. They must have admiration. And then if the attention has moved from them and is focused on somebody else, that becomes a big problem for them. We can think of any number of triggers. Maybe the spouse is promoted. That is a problem. Work commitments is a problem. You cannot imagine how this family will be affected if they have a child with maybe some special needs. If there's a child with special needs, because then your attention is much more needed. You are focused your focus, both of you as a couple, is needed, your cooperation, your support. But then you have a person here who needs the attention focused on him 24/7, 365, 100%. Otherwise, they cannot be able to function. And another trigger is families and friends and other relationships. And this is because the other relationships are taking your attention away from them. Your other relationships are also your support system. And when you have a support system in place, they will not be able to manipulate you as they would like to do. So most of them, you use a tactic of isolating you and alienating you from your family. They will behave badly in front of the family. They will say, oh, your family come here, they do this, they will talk ill of them, they will slag them, they will do all sorts just to separate you from the family and to isolate you from your friends. And in that situation, he will become your only support, which will be offered and removed whenever they want, and that will become another way of manipulating and coercing you. So it will be a carrot and stick thing. When you are good, or when you are perceived good, you get the carrot. And when you are perceived not to be so good and you need to be punished or you need to be disciplined, then the support is withdrawn. Maybe support with your children, maybe support with you are going to work, maybe you get a lift when you are perceived good, or you don't get a lift when you are not perceived to be so good. And there are many ways that can be formulated to punish you or to reward you, so that you are staying how you are expected to stay by this person who is trying to manipulate you. So all your friends will be bad for one reason or another. All your family will be bad. You'll see that most of the people who are in those kind of relationships, their relationships, other relationships, become a problem. They'll have no relationship with anybody else. Everyone will be bad and will be perceived to be bad. And they'll say something like, oh, I don't like your family coming here. They do this, all sorts. And in that situation, then you become more and more vulnerable. On the other hand, they can even gaslight you to your family, so that your family will perceive you as the bad person. They will go and be very nice to your family, and you will end up with broken relationships, or relationships that are really, really struggling. Maybe you enroll on a course of study, because we all need to grow and develop as we are advancing in our lives, and that will become a problem. Why? It will take your time off, it will take your attention off this person, and anything at all that takes attention from our guy is a problem. Everything and anything that will not allow your person to be the center of focus and the center of attention will be a problem. So those are some of the triggers I experienced personally. Like, my situation was so bad when I was pregnant, and he seems to be wanting children, but then when I'm pregnant, it becomes a big problem. The only issue is that I did not connect the pregnancy with his behavior. So I thought it was just random unrelated things, but now we are getting hold of the thread. When I got promotion, it was a problem. And when my family were a problem. At one point, he did not like me going to visit my family at all. And if I wanted to go to visit my family, it will become a big problem. Equally, when my family visit, he would make some funny comments, not so funny. And those are some of the triggers that, had I known what I know now, I would have known that this is what is troubling the person. But I didn't know that it was connected to how he is feeling on the inside. I didn't know that it was part of his own overall issue of um, having really high narcissistic problem. And he must have control. She must have control by all means. It can be by manipulation, it can be by coercion, or it can be by violence, or it can be by any means. They must have total and complete control. So what happens when then I get a chance to even go and work abroad? That is like the ultimate of power and control being not possible. But they still try to find a way of coercing you, even controlling you, even when you're miles and miles away. They will have a hold. In my case, he had my children, so that was the hold, and I have to play ball no matter what else is going on. So we need to understand these things so we are not just confused and baffled when things happen. The thing is, you cannot outsmart a narcissist. Don't even try to outsmart them, because when somebody lacks empathy, you cannot outsmart them. And they are able to manipulate you to a point that you even have a lot of empathy for them instead. And that is the worst place to be, because you'll be feeling empathetic even when they have done the worst thing to you, because they'll do the worst thing and then they'll be in tears and there will be apologies and you'll be feeling sorry for them, not for yourself who is battered and bruised, but for themselves. And I'm not saying it only happens in a wife-husband relationship. It can happen in any relationship. It can happen in a family, that you have somebody who has high narcissistic tendencies, and they can really make things difficult for all the relationship involved. They'll interfere with your relationship with your parents. You'll be persecuted by your parents. They will persecute you. You'll be persecuted by siblings. But if you understand, then there is a possibility we can keep ourselves safe. You cannot outsmart a narcissist. The only thing you can do is to give yourself space, both of mind, of emotion, and of many times actual distance. If you must love them at a distance where it is safe. So as before we have said, our slogan is safety for all. That is the whole main purpose of these discussions and these conversations. Safety is paramount. So above all things, you must keep yourself safe. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your children. And if you understand, if you think that this person actually has high narcissistic tendencies, maybe you need to consider your safety as a priority. Safety for all is Abby Mombi, your healthy relationship coach and advocate. Here is a new year, new things. It's a year of restoration, and we thank God that we can be here in this new year. I am the author of this book, It is called More Than Just a Face. More than just a face. That is to say that we have a lot of strength inside there. Some of it we don't even know about. So mine is because I had a very traumatic life experience in the home front. So the title of the book is More Than Just a Face. My husband tried to kill me, like literally he tried to kill me. Only by the grace of God, I'm here to share this. And I share this with a view that someone will read it and will be encouraged to consider their safety and not wait for so long until things are so bad and it will take so much to turn things around. You don't have to wait that long. You need to consider what are your priorities, but safety is a priority. We cannot afford to lose another life. Life is precious. Life is precious, guys. Precious. Above all things, let us keep ourselves safe. So get yourself a copy. It's on Amazon. And also, we can send to you a copy if you're in Nairobi or in Kenya at a price. If you pay for it, for the book, and also for the postage, depending on where you are, we are happy to get you a copy. Or you can order on Amazon. If you are in UK, we are happy to send you a copy as well for the price of the book and the postage. In UK is £15, including the postage. Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you in the year 2021. You've been very supportive of this channel. It's your channel, and we'll be trying to learn things. Usually we'll talk about things that are hard to talk about. At the moment, we are dealing with domestic violence, and we are saying it is a no-no. Domestic violence and abuse is a no-no. That is too high a cost for a relationship, and the risk for loss of life in that scenario is too close. So, no. If you are there and you feel sometimes like you want to hit someone, it's time to address the issues that are lying inside of you. There is help. It's a matter of finding someone so you can explore what is going on in the inside and deal with the issues. I've been asked questions like, are narcissists made? We will consider that, so that we will also touch on parenting. How do we parent our children? Do we groom them for abuse if they are girls or boys? Do we groom them to be abusers? How do we raise them? Some of these things are entrenched in our traditions and in our values and in our lifestyles. So we'll be talking all about these things. Another thing that can cause narcissism is mainly two things that can cause narcissism. This is just food for thought for you tonight. Can be either overindulgence, so a person becomes very, very entitled, or neglect. Sometimes we can neglect children and deny them basic rights and what they need to have a dignified life. Another thing that can cause these things is also abuse, or coming from an abusive background, and these issues have never been addressed. Please, let us raise awareness, our self-awareness, and that will help us a lot. So we'll know how to relate with each other safely, and we will be having beneficial relationship. I am a mother of 3, 3 wonderful guys, 2 sons and a daughter whom I love very much, and I thank them for their support. So I am talking as a mother, and I would like everyone to be encouraged to deal with ourselves. Relationships are hard work, can be hard work, but we need to know ourselves and to be self-aware before we go to engage in serious relationships, especially like marriage, because you are constantly with this person. You need to understand yourself a little, and you need to understand the person you are with and know whether you are matched, whether you can bring something out together. There are guys who should never have been together at all. And if it has already happened, maybe time to reconsider. Let us not hurt each other. Let us build each other. Relationships are supposed to bring out the best in us, not the worst in us. If your relationship is bringing the worst out of you, maybe it's time to consider. Maybe it's time to take stock, because we cannot have all these assaults and killings within the families. Families are supposed to be the loving space where people are nurtured to be their best, to be what they must be in this life, to fulfill their purpose and to attain their destiny. God bless you. God keep you. Thank you very much for being here tonight.